Okay, starting again. So we bounce back on these three positions of the anger about living and believing in and giving our life over to lies, to a false universe and to a false sense of who we are, to a drama that we've had to support and put so much energy in 24/7, 365 to keep it afloat, and it just barely keeps it afloat. We don't get really what we want. We don't get the perfection we want, you know. It's kind of like politics and activism. It's kind of like, you look at someone and you say, well, if I pressure them enough in some way, if I pressure the world in enough ways, all of a sudden the world will change and it will be what I want it to be, as if you have a real clue as what it should be. But that's kind of how it looks. And does the world work that way? Of course it doesn't work that way. You pressure the world pressures you back. It's like your ego. Nobody likes the ego. I love my ego. Hardly anybody else does. Especially the spirituals circles, they hate the ego. They say that's the problem, that's the enemy. No, the ego isn't the enemy. The ego is part of you. It gives you information, and good information. The part that's screwed up is you taking that information with the idea that you think you got to change everything. That you think that the ego's telling you, well, you better change that. The ego's not telling you that. You know what the ego's telling you? The ego doesn't have any ego. The ego's telling you, this is what's going on down here. This is the belief structures you have down here. This is what you have, and this is what you've programmed into saying, when you get this experience, like you meet someone and a lady yells at you on the trolley, that you take offense and you attack back. That's what's down here. The ego's not making you do that. The ego's part of you, but you're making you do that because you're buying into that world. You're buying into that world, So anger, denial, bargaining, all because you can't do anything about it. The good news, I'll give you the clue, is you don't need to do anything about it. That's why you can't do anything about it. You don't need to do anything about it. It's simply acceptance. But how do we get to acceptance? Well, that's what this whole drama is about. It's like getting to that place, People who dying is a beautiful experience. Death is a beautiful experience. Death, letting go, it's a beautiful experience. Dying's the real problem because we're holding on. When my dad was getting ready to die, and he said, finally, I saw fear in him for the first time. And he says, Dale, I never thought it could be so hard. And I thought it was because he was in 5 hours of operation, losing his leg. He died 5 hours later. No, what he was saying was he had to let go of everything. And that was hard. Of course it's hard. The more you hold on to, the harder it is. You still do it though. This is another thing, is you'll get through it, especially when it comes to physical death. But the other ones too, you could see that if you look at your life, you'll see that you do actually get through them. When you meet hard circumstance that you have to face, you'll meet it. You'll meet it. At any rate, those three. Then when you work with those three, finally, when you start realizing that you don't have control over this, and you're not going to be able to affect your way out. And whether you talk to Deepak Chopra or Tony Robbins, I'm kind of out of phase with all these people though, or whoever the latest consciousness guru is, they're not going to help you out of this because you're not in it. You just believe you are. You got to come out. You got to wake up. You got to somehow wake up. And, you will wake up. That's the good news, is because you can't stay asleep. That's why it's painful. That's why all this stuff is painful. Because when you're not awake, it's painful. Because you're not supposed, it's like the doctor, comes in and pokes the person here and says, and the leg says, does that hurt there? And the person goes, no. Does it pokes you in the other leg? Does that hurt there? No. Pokes you in the side. Does that hurt there? No. Pokes you in the other side. Does that hurt there? No. Pokes you in the little chin up here and says, does that hurt? And you go, oh yeah, that hurts. Doctor says, well, it's not supposed to hurt there. That's what spirit is telling us in everything. It's not supposed to hurt there. All this leads to the thing that's called depression. That's the fourth step in Kubler-Ross's, which is depression, which is a sense of hopelessness. Hopelessness. I love it it's just so funny. I love it on commercial. I'm talking about depression because I have been down to the bottom of depression, past suicidal depression, past end of existence depression, all the way to the bottom. And I came out of it. Now, it doesn't mean I don't have a depression. Oh, I have that all the time still. but it doesn't mean anything. All now it means now is time out. Take time. Because the whole thing about depression is it's all about all those other steps saying, let go, for God's sake. Let go. The whole universe is calling it, everyone on this planet, saying, if you see somebody suffering for any reason, you can be sure that the main message that's being broadcast within them and all around them 24/7, 365 is let go. Let go. Just let go. Don't fight it anymore. Let go and watch what happens. Depression is that. If you look at, I love the drug, I don't know if they're still doing it, but for the longest time, they're pitching antidepressants and drug commercials. Now I'm going to have to break this one off too and do another one.